as part of our lovely full moon messages, we will continue with what I was picking up on in our previous one. And it is about the expanding states of consciousness, relationships, and true love, as well as romance and life partners. So when you are within that 5D collective, it means you have welcomed all of you, all of your inner child parts. You are that inner child adult. So you are a self empowered person. Empowerment is the frequency that supports your ability to show up fully and completely, uniting you with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. Okay, so you don't do this evil good. There is no inherently good or evil. We're also all attachment and trauma informed at this point in our journey. So when dealing with narrow states of consciousness, they are not going to be partners because they actively, like with Dr. Daniel Fox when he shares about those who have a BPD lens, and it's not only the BPD lens. I've seen more than just the BPD lens have black and white and split thinking. And so where they, one, are very dubious about kind people. So imagine you knowing somebody who's kind and you actively having less trust in them than in somebody who's going to treat you with low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive manners, and not know that healthy boundaries are talking and welcoming people, but also being firm in what you like or don't like. Firmness doesn't mean I have the capacity to insult you or your lifestyle choices. That's called I feel righteous about my way. So anyways, narrow states of consciousness will be clear because they're not fun when it comes to differences with religion, politics, and complete entirely lifestyle, what you wear, how many people you love, what you believe in or don't believe in. Okay, so the ones who go into their rigidity and or chaos, meaning that they're not open to differences completely in a conversational standpoint, they are not expanding states of consciousness. They don't have healthy self-worth to the extent of owning their core self. So they still have shame at the core. We don't. It's called I'm Maria and you are you. So we are empowered and we show up fully, and we do know our own oversoul. Feminine or masculine, you will have a relationship, however it is, to stand up and tell somebody with nice and integrity, this is who I am. And it means you accept if I say you're not the one for me. Because you don't, that whatever it is, you can accept it and you don't feel crushed by it. Okay, so I'm talking to independent lovers right now. That means you own your 1-year-old. Let me specify. You don't have to be here, but the message that I'm channeling and that which is the full moon here, 5D collective, are mindfully aware with mindsight means you can sift through your emotions. They're not laundry. And you can make sense of that which is taking place when you're dealing with unknowns, uncertainties, unexpecteds, because you're dealing with it from your inner heart. This is that advanced place of the inner growth mindset where you're in neutrality with duality. So you're sitting in your prefrontal cortex and then you're going with the flow. It's called the integration of brain. And so you're aware, accountable, and regulating from restorative embodiment self. Okay? So the frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. So you don't get confused, mystic or not, person that is dealing with relationships. You don't get doubt, confusion. You're not using your temporal junction. You don't do the suffering. You're processing. You're going to talk. You're witnessing. Okay. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. Your highest purpose is going to be you with your loved ones, being ordinary, and career, not career, depends what your job is and what not, but basically waking up and having the capacity to share the magic that life is with your herd, and that involves people around you who let you be all of you. And of course we tease, so we're Sid, Manny, Diego with Pacha, Cusco's. Okay, nobody has chips, nobody gets offended, nobody's like, oh my god, you use that word, don't you know it's not respected to use that word, you need to correct yourself. That it's another thing if someone says, okay, look, that word, and sometimes they can get passionate, and then we're enlightening each other on how we can try and navigate these changing times. Okay, but it's fun. It's not insulting. It's not, how dare you? Again, what? You're polyamory? No, yuck. So we have the frequency of magic, and that is with our lovely true love, romance, and life partners, yes, is only magical. FYI, the only people who need to work hard to keep their relationship going, their narrow states of consciousness. I see them. They don't navigate the enlightenment vibrations. Why we have a Zen master with laundry inside. So, the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation, which a integrated brain, mystic or not, will have. Sciences and spirituality coming together. And in fact, the frequency of emergence is what you'll unfold day in and day out with the person who is your life partner and or life partners, for those of you who have more than one. Invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So when a person owns their divine feminine and their divine masculine, body and mind, we're an inner child adult. Here's where I say this is the masculine the left and the feminine the right. So you have integration of brain, and you have a life that you're embodying with restorative embodiment. So your social engagement system. You enjoy being in your social engagement system. And you know how to process and witness and share like a functional adult. That's why we have our lovely conversations. We don't weigh each other down. We say, wow, yeah, today. So we all still have emotions like this Zen Master talks. It's just not laundry. Okay, so nobody's like, you have 80% today, so you need to stay on schedule. Sounds very boring to be around people like that. The rigidity is very clear when you're around in narrow states of consciousness, because they still have shame, blame, fault, and revenge. They still have low self-esteem manners. They don't know how to calibrate yet their nervous system to soothe their 1-year-old. So that means they bring it to you. So they actively have no self-awareness to say, oh, wait, I can reassure myself while I'm being uncomfortable. Now, I have to say I have had practice thanks to my panic attacks. So I just have practiced getting comfortable in the uncomfortable again. That's why you create daily practices of mindfulness, mind, sight, and mindset. And once we have our membership content, even though I'm starting to think of alternative ways just in case this doesn't become available soon enough on YouTube, but universal Reiki love transmission sessions, I want to create some more. So you can check out the ones that are already available. They're for free online. There's a playlist, but I'm planning to make some more. Okay, and so with this full moon, Gaia, the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and the universe that birthed us all, and that we have belief that supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So your gifts and talents is you being you and me being me, and together that creates a beautiful harmony. Okay, and the story is that expanding states of consciousness, they're consistently looking out with a solution, and a creative one, and with bliss and delight. You know, the enlightenment and empowerment come with different paths. Those who are still in pain and loss and suffering have the Zen master to continue that with. The ones who understand and learned and got over the hump of that specific energy, they have started to use their prefrontal cortex. So they actively have bliss and delight, because whenever I stub my toe, it'll take those 90 seconds or however long an emotion lasts. Okay, so the body will do what it does to process that pain, but I'm consistently navigating my nervous system from the capacity of using this mindfulness, mind, sight, and it's an integrated brain. And so you're consistently connected, by the way, with source. And that's why you can vibe always on and in enlightenment. And so true love, it's romance, and it's life partners who support each other to be the authentic self. They enjoy the innocence of childlike play, and it's not child though, because obviously when you're old enough, you do realize what's going on out there in the world, but that's the whole point. We lift each other up so that we can fly together. And that's because that's how it works when you're navigating a restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating life. And you choose every day, my brain, my voice, my thoughts, my feelings. There's the basic feelings, and then there's really what I'm leading with here. So anytime something comes up, I can, one, activate my safe haven, secure base all on my own and reassure myself. I still have secondary consciousness like every other person. So I give meaning and take away meaning. And with a life partner, the only life partner that's going to be ideal for any expanding piece of consciousness is the bliss and delight one. The human suffering love narrative, they consistently choose to, when loss and pain and suffering come about, use their temporal junction. The suffering comes from that. You're ruminating. You learning how to harness your brain means you learning how to harness your mind, which means you do mindfulness practices, because the pillars of the mind are three: focused attention, awareness, which is when the maximum uncertainty comes up. And that's when, if I have all here cleared, I am able to say, Maria's here, so are my emotions, and then kind intention. It'll be okay. Don't worry. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. It's okay all. And then the life partner is the one who tells you, it's good, cool, come on, let's talk about it. Let's go have some fun while you talk about it. Or, what would you like to do? Do you want to just hug? What do you want? So the amygdala of a life partner that is expanding consciousness will have mental and emotional immediate empathy towards another that is moment of disruption. Why? Because that's where their mammalian heritage is on, because they know how to navigate healthy self-worth, empowered, enlightened, always, not the laundry of the Zen master. If they got a laundry basket, then they're going to be, again, why don't you just go and do something different? And there's your passive aggressive. Or chit chatter while you're hugging me. I know that you're chit chattering in your brain because you're not actively curious, open, accepting, and loving. You're not present with me. You're not mindfully able to be open and present and light with me if you don't know how to lighten your own load when shit hits the fan in your life, not my life. So if you don't know how to deal with unknowns, unexpected uncertainties from an open heart while going with the flow, I will know. The expanding piece of consciousness. You can be woman, man, they. It doesn't matter. That is when this thing, strong connection to sources. I've been given the gift of 24 hours today. I can't wait. Oh shit, I have a moment where something's happening. I want to be uplifted. If you can't do it, I can do it better. The expanding piece of consciousness. So again, it's not because we deny emotions. We know, and we're recalibrating. So you recalibrating your nervous system is what is consistently happening, by the way. It's why the Zen master tells you about laundry. But that's, again, a person who doesn't have the capacity to consistently be resilient in their left and right and say, hey, it's all good, don't worry, let's get it together, So I have plenty of practice with fear and anxiety, and therefore, that's the dominant one. Sadness is cool. Anger is cool. Meaning fear is pure fear. That one, I can tell you all about that. I had an experience with it. It's even more pure, fascinating, I guess you could say, than active panic attacks. Because the panic attacks, I'm thinking, I'm dying, right? But the pure fear was just pure fear in my body. I was like, nah. Getting to go through that. So, anyways, life partners and romance and true love and relationships. It's consistently supporting each other. And it's not only one. Remember that we have allo parenting. We have a herd. But when a person has consistently been working with themselves and then with others, that's why those nice partnerships. And this full moon brings you the awareness of what you want and how you are enjoying being yourself and how you want more people around you, including whoever will be accompanying you, or however many, depending on if you are a monoamorous or polyamorous person. Also, like I was saying, though, wherever you're at in your journey of how you can reassure and regulate your nervous system, that is what you're going to also be looking at. No person actively engages with another in the absence of being aware of how they can support each other within those 24 hours. Actively, a life partner is every 24 hours. So I will want more of you, not less of you. And that will mean that you are ideal, not just 5%, no, 100%. Otherwise, you're not life partner material. If people treat partnership like a boxing and competitiveness and it's hard, that is not ideal for those of us who know true love, again, and romance, because it's not hard work. Two people are together because they enjoy each other and they appreciate each other. And there's, of course, common interests. There have to be, in addition to you being appealing to each other physically. That, again, common sense, anyone who's been growing up. The ones who compromise are the ones who, I will say, there's not for this, but narrow states of consciousness, another conversation. In the meantime, for our lovely full moon and for all of those of you who are choosing yourself today and to be true to who you are because you have secure attachment, you've connected to eternity within, so you know how to be consistently loving and you know that you are not alone. You live life like true spirituality with our lovely forgiveness from Jesus, unconditional love. You have flaws, I have flaws, that infinite darkness of the unknown, and we don't do it alone. You don't do any of the life alone. It's bullshit, the alone. You do alone, yes, here and here, but you learned how to self regulate, one, from your home. Then, if you had to, you relearned it because you didn't get to learn self regulation. And then you're consistently with people who also are expanding, functional adults. So, expanding peace of consciousness is very important because the ones who have envy, jealousy, spite, revenge, shame, blame, fault, they actively present a whole different type of, yes, so they're not the lifelong relationships. They can be people that you frequent and you engage with because we teach each other always more about our lovely Merkaba. Where are you? So you are always connected to each other. Nobody needs to disconnect from anyone in the 5D plane and beyond. We'll be back with more. Again, thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you soon.